Hi, this is Dan Chambers of Chambers Law Firm. In this video, I'm going to talk about the Federal Fair Sentencing Act. Now, the Federal Fair Sentencing Act was passed back in 2010, and there's a lot of aspects to it that changed federal law and federal sentencing. But there's only one aspect I really want to focus on in this particular video in terms of why the Fair Sentencing Act matters and why it might apply to your case. Before the Fair Sentencing Act was passed, federal law treated people in possession and selling crack cocaine much harsher than they did people that were possessing, using, and selling powder cocaine. Now, when the crack cocaine epidemic came to the United States in the 1980s, the legislation that was passed was swift and it was draconian, it was severe, and crack cocaine immediately was subject to huge mandatory minimums in federal prison, 5-year, 10-year, depending on the amount of crack cocaine the person was in possession of. And many times that person was a crack cocaine addict and had a very small amount that they were holding for their own personal use, but they were facing 5 and 10-year mandatory minimums simply because it was crack cocaine as opposed to powder. Now, powder cocaine, on the other hand, wasn't changing with the times. The punishments were less severe for that than they were for crack cocaine, and because of the disparity between crack and powder cocaine in sentencing, it was disproportionately affecting people of color because crack cocaine was a huge problem in communities that were suffering economically. So the federal government finally stepped in 2010, and President Obama passed the Fair Sentencing Act to make sure that powder cocaine and crack cocaine were treated more equally so that it wouldn't have a disparate impact on people of color. So, and as a result, the punishments are now pretty much the same. And also, one of the other things that happened were these mandatory minimums were either reduced or eliminated so that people that were possessing it for personal use weren't hit harshly for having a very small amount of drugs on them. So, an important aspect of our federal sentencing to try to bring powder and crack cocaine in line with each other and treat everybody on a more level playing field. Now, there's other aspects to the Fair Sentencing Act, but that's the one that I think comes up most often in federal court. If you're facing federal charges, please call Chambers Law Firm and we'll discuss the Fair Sentencing Act with you and all of the different ways that we can help you. We always provide a free consultation and we look forward to talking to you. Thanks.